Hey, it's an exciting, beautiful day. We're here live in Martinez. My name's Kaya, and this is Kopoet.
The Prince, baby.
Yeah, we're here to talk about his upcoming album, Lessons, as well as get to know him a little bit better as an artist. So, welcome, Kopoet.
Welcome. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It's your boy Kopoet, the Prince. Beatsmyth couldn't be here today, but we sending a shout out to him, you know what I mean, as well.
All right, so a couple of questions to start out with. Your name, Kopoet, where did that come from?
Kopoet, it means poetic consciousness. It comes from a style of thinking that is of consciousness with human nature and life and God himself, you know, putting it all together like you make a gumbo in a gumbo pot, and a lot of goodies come out of it, you know what I mean? That's Kopoet, man, poetic consciousness.
Love it. You want to speak a little bit on your musical partner in crime, Beatsmyth, and a little bit about what his name means.
Oh, Beatsmyth is like an architectural type of meaning, you know. He's the power behind the machine, you know. The music that you hear from me is produced all by Beatsmyth, you know. So he's the power behind the greatness.
Where did you guys meet?
Me and Beatsmyth met at Marin General Hospital. You know, he was a carpenter by trade, so they contracted him out, and I worked there already for 10 years, so we just met in the hallways. We began to converse as men, and then I asked him, "Do we like hip hop?" And he say, "Yeah, I like hip hop." You know what I mean? So I said, "I brought out an album, brother. I'm gonna bring you one," and I brought him the album, and then he liked it because it was conscientious hip hop, you know, about life and all that type of stuff, and we clicked from there, and we've been brothers ever since then, pretty much.
And so this is your second album, is that right?
Well, this is my third.
It's your third album?
Yeah, my first album I brought out in 2010, I believe, my Musical Resurrection. Then I brought my second one out, I Am Roger Vaughn, in 2013. So this is me and Beatsmith's first album, but this is my third studio recorded album.
I have to be sure to check out those other recordings as well.
Yeah, you can pick those up at iTunes, Spotify, you know, all the large streaming networks. Yeah.
And how did you get started in music?
Well, my father's a singer. He's a gospel singer. My father was, you know. And then the neighborhood that we grew up in, all we had was music. That kept us sane, and that kept us on a level that kept our thinking patterns correctly. Music has always been a great influence in my life. You know, all genres, gospel, country, R&B, you know. Back in my days, they had music called house music, where they danced, you know. So music has always been a part of my structure. Yeah.
Well, they call you the preacher.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean to you? What's that all about? And how does that come across in your music?
Well, you got to understand the Bible. The Bible is a conscientious book. It talks about life. You know, it talks about getting money. It talks about relationships. It talks about struggle. It talks about faith. It talks about coming out of struggles. It talks about all them things that life talks about. So, as being a teacher of God's word, I am a communicator. And being a communicator, rap is a platform where you can communicate to different audiences that don't even go to church. You know what I mean? So I can bring the gospel to them in a way that they understand it, by using street poetry that incites the mind, that generates a feeling of the heart, that generates interest in the artist, you know. So that's how it translates over. My music is like, people used to always tell me, you know, you should write a book, right? But I am an author. If you look at my album and then the album titles, they book titles. I'm just an author in a different form, write music.
This is your book. Yeah.
All my music is like a book, you know, like on the album that's coming out, Lessons. The album is called Lessons. I got a song called Life Full of Smiles, musical portraits. A song called Lessons. A song called Beautiful Mind. All of them are book titles. Because I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. I am an author of life. That's who Kopoet is. And that's what I want to bring to the world.
Well, I was going to ask you what kind of impact you would like to make on your community, but I feel like you really kind of just answered that. But is there anything that you'd like to speak to directly about your community and what your impact, your influence is, and what you desire for it to be?
Just to learn goodness and good music, just to hear good music. There's so many different types of music out there, but that good music is lost. The music that educates and teaches and inspires others to grow, That's what I want to do to my community. Be a beacon of light, an icon, Somebody they can look at and trust, and yet I live the life that they can trust.
And what does that life look like?
That life is a life that's being a role model to the lost, a hope to the hopeless, Wisdom to those who have no wisdom. Strength to those who struggle, Understanding to those who have no understanding. That's what Kopoet is. He's consciousness. So for me to be consciousness, I have to be conscious of everybody's consciousness. And that takes the study of humans, which is what I do. I give you an example, like on one of my songs, A Life Full of Smiles, I say, guard your grill, baby, knuckle up. How you gonna let a man take your self-esteem as you growing up? He got a pipe dream, Don't be a victim. If you smile, you will get it. A life full of smiles. So when I said guard your grill, knuckle up, I'm meaning symbolically saying protect your life. Don't let a man take your self-esteem while you're growing up. Because when somebody take your self-esteem, you become powerless. I want them to become powerful. And to become powerful, you got to guard yourself at all times. That's what I mean. Consciousness. That's what Kopoet is. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I'm curious, who are your influences?
I got a lot of influences. Me and Beats got pretty much the same influences, I wrote them down too so I won't miss none of them. I know it's funny, but, De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, Common, Talib Kweli, Living Legends, Nas, Pac, Big, all the Motown early singers, 840, Spice One, Richie Rich, E-Ray C, STN, which is one of my biggest influences. He's a late rapper that died from my neighborhood who seen the gift in me to rap. And used to always tell me, before you come outside, Raj, you gotta write lyrics, you gotta write rhymes, you gotta write rhymes. When I didn't write rhymes, he was mad at me because he said you got a gift to speak life and to paint a picture. He already seen it in me. Rest in peace, SDN, aka the Mad Gatter, Slick the Realist, So yeah, them is my influences.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And how do you stay focused on your style of music when there are so many styles out there?
Well, one of the laws of power is do not let nobody create your image. You create your image. So in other words, I stay in my own lane. That's how I'm able to do my music, though with so many other music genres or so many rap styles out there. I stay in my own lane. And I build my own character. And that's real. And people draw the realness, and people, like realness. And that's what Kopoet is. I'm not nothing I'm not. I'm not saying none that I'm not. I'm only speaking what is and what shall come and what is happening now. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
Yes.
What's the difference between your style of music and the style of music in the neighborhood you grew up in?
Well, once again, I grew up in two hoods, which is not common, but when you're young, you got to move with your parents. So I grew up in North Richmond, then I moved later and moved to Central Richmond, and I got Southside partners. So that means I had seen a lot, been through a lot, heard a lot. And the difference between my music and their music is this. Their music is gangsta pimping. My music is conscientious. I'm saying the same thing they saying it, but I'm just saying it in a different form. They say it directly, I say it in poetic form. And what that means is this. They might say, I got a 30 on my hip, right? Fist of blast. I'ma say, he had a 30 on his hip full of frustration. Would he survive the hesitation? Something like that. See, so it's different. I'm going to say the same thing he's saying, but just in poetic form. They just direct with it. I'm poetic with it. So
Hence Kopoet.
That's Kopoet. I am the consciousnness of the neighborhood, while they are the direct speakers of the neighborhood.
So you're speaking the heart and soul.
Yes. That's the difference between it. Gangster pimping and consciousness. One is direct and one is poetic.
That's awesome. I know the world will be a better place for that.
Yeah, it's just style. That's all it is. And it took time to develop and form. I had to read a lot of books. I had to study a lot of humans to understand consciousness is the art and motions of man in motion, doing what men do, whether you're a man or a female, And life is beautiful. And when you can paint the picture of life and somebody can see that picture with a rhythm, that's called skill. And that don't come overnight. That comes from the graces of God and just developing your craft. Yes.
Awesome. I really appreciate you being here. I have one more question. Lessons, is that lessons that you've learned or lessons that you have to give, or both? What does the title of this album mean to you?
Lessons. I titled lessons because all the lessons that I learned personally, like in these last 5 years, I learned a lot of lessons. And one of the greatest lessons I learned that all must learn is that those who you think that are for you or should support you won't support you. And those who you think that won't desert you will desert you. That's a great lesson to learn, because when you learn that lesson, you won't wear your emotions on your shoulders. You know what I mean? And then it's also the lessons that I learned from everybody else's lessons. So that's why I titled lessons, because once again, I'm always seeing humanity. I can see a woman pushing the stroller and make a song about it called Motherless Child. Fatherless child. Just because a woman pushing the stroller don't mean she's a mother. That can be a burden to her. So I can write a story about that. So that's what lessons mean. Lessons is the lessons that everybody learn in life. So I look at the news, I read the newspaper, I stay in tune with what's going on. I keep my ears to the street of what's going on in the street. I listen to what people talk at my job, I listen to what they say, I listen to how they struggle, how they go through, what they say is this, what they say is that. Then I translate that onto paper and write a story about it. I write every Monday or every Thursday. I set aside those days to write lyrics, because remember, lyrics is the communication that you're trying to communicate to a people, to appeal to the masses, to give them some type of understanding of what you see. That's what a rap is in its finest, purest form. And Kopoet wants to deliver hip-hop in its purest form, untainted from what people may think, but only speak what I know and see and live and hear. That's Kopoet.
All right.
Once again,
what a contribution.
Once again, one love to Beatsmyth, who can't be here with us. You know what I mean? He's dealing with a family situation, but much love to him. Once again, all the music you hear, the snares, the hi-hats, the melody. Once again, he the power behind the machine. So all the music you hear, Beatsmyth is the power behind the machine. We also picked up another producer that's on the squad, McLaren M1. He's from Rich City Production. So he the one produced Lessons, So it's Beatsmyth and McLaren, They pretty much.
Where's Beatsmyth from?
Beatsmyth is from Lodi, California. And we talk about that song. We talk about his upbringing and his city in a song on the album called Fresh Set of Days. The chorus go, Rich Town raised me. That was for me. Marin gave me game, took a trip to Lodi. Came back not the same, because Rich Town raised me. But when I marooned to Marin, it gave me game on how I can make money and not be broke. But then when I went to Lodi, his family showed me so much love, because at that time when I met Gabe, I was going through a crisis myself. I was at my lowest point, because once again, those who I thought would have betrayed me, Gabe took me in, his family took me in as a son, and I never came back the same.
That's beautiful.
I say, they fed me and took me in as a son. Beatsmyth, the other son, now we won. You know? Okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that come in at. Yeah.
Awesome. We got a lot to look forward to from you, Kopoet and Beatsmyth. Yeah.
Because like I say, I recorded 50 songs, but I only put 18 on the album. So we're going to follow up with singles and EPs and all that. And I got yet 15 songs I got written, ready to go, record. You know, so I'm steadily working.
Gotta work Beatsmyth.
Study. and the thing about Beatsmyth is he's getting better in production. So he's getting excited with it, you know. He's getting excited because he's found his craft. Beatsmyth is a New York anthem. If you listen to this album, it's going to sound like West Coast, but you're gonna get that 80s and 90s feel. That's where Beats at in his production. 80s and 90s. You know what I mean? Melodies. You know. So that's what you're gonna get from this album. It's a beautiful written and a production album. It's very beautifully written, but it's very also beautifully produced. You know, this album that y'all get now was not the album that was first done. The album that we did first, we went through sample clearance problems. So that's why it's been delayed. Beatsmyth went in and said, he said, Raj, I think I can do the album. I say, man, I believe you. Let's do it. So he went in and found his craft and began to make music like he do his carpentry, you know, and start putting things together. Then he'll send it to me. Raj, let's go. I say, man, make it a little bit like this. He send it back to me. That's it. Track 1 done. Let's go to that track 2. So Beatsmyth put a lot of time in his production. Yeah, and his mixing and mastering. He also mixed and mastered the whole album as well. Yeah, so like I say, he's the power behind the machine, you know?
All right. Wow. Powerful machine it is. Kopoet, thank you again. I wish Beatsmyth could be here, but we'll catch up with him next time.
Oh, yeah. We gonna get him in this game. We gonna get him.
We're all looking forward to the album. Can't wait.
I'm thinking April, May. I'm thinking it's gonna be on iTunes, you know, Pandora, Spotify, you know. We're gonna try to get it on Tidal. It's gonna be on all your major streaming networks. So either you download it or stream it. It's all good.
I know you're putting out some snippets. Where can people find these little snippets, videos, shout outs that you've been doing all throughout?
Yeah, and another thing, you can find all my snippets, all my interviews, and all the release dates of videos and interviews will be on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Those are the 3 social networking sites we use the most to promote our album and everything we do with it.
All right, so look up Kopoet and Beatsmyth on Facebook, Instagram,
and also YouTube. YouTube page is coming soon. We're gonna get that ready next week. So we on schedule to do what we do. Like I say, I told Beatsmyth, we don't seek to be the best. We just seek to be written among the legends that did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm sure you will. All right. Thank you so much, Kopoet. Till next time.
Next time.
All right. Peace out.
One.